Hello Blues and good evening. We have just finished filming the 9th version of the Manchester Blue VlogCast with myself, Tom, City Dave, and Dan Fielding. We talk about yesterday's game against Southampton and the young Blues playing, and it's fantastic to see Tommy Doyle, Angelino and of course Foden running the show. And we talk about the Villa game and get some in-depth analysis about that. And of course we talk about our future games against Villa this weekend on Saturday and Atalanta next week, and a little bit about Liverpool the week after that as well. We also give you a bit of a detailed discussion about Cancelo, Ederson and Aguero, as well as we talk a little bit about, of course, Pep. And if you'd like to know about anything else, please do put it in the comments below and we'll talk about it the week later. But yeah, if you have any questions, please let us know. I hope you enjoy. Oh, yes, it's the three of us again, three amigos.
There you go.
Get some more on soon, aren't we? I'm not going to start naming and shaming to our other admins, but you know, yeah. Come on.
We keep trying.
Also trying, don't they? But right, should we get cracking then? We have a little bit of an agenda for the day, don't we? So should we go through? It seems a distant memory now. Villa.
It does. It's always the same when there's another game in between and we don't talk. But yeah, Villa very quickly. Just hark back to Pep's comments after the game. Absolutely woeful first half. Woeful. I mean, we had a couple of chances, but woeful. It's just like our heads weren't in the game really. And he obviously gave them a rocket at half time. Came out a different team, and I keep saying to you two over and over again, the superlatives for Sterling. I'm just running out. Just absolutely incredible game again. Yeah. And you know, I'd said before we started the call, I wanted to mention Ederson, world-class performance. Yet again, he is arguably for me the best goalkeeper in the world right now. If you take into account he was probably always been the best deliverer of the ball for the last 2 seasons, but now he's brought in incredible goalkeeping with that as well, and communication with a back four that he's not used to. Tell me who's a better keeper than him in the world right now, because I can't.
I'd be arguing against myself, pal, to be honest with you. I can't think of. I know a couple of other club supporters will think that they'll say the same for their keeper, but I genuinely would not swap our keeper for anybody in the world right now.
No.
Why would you want
to? What do you think, Dan?
Well, it's sort of a distant memory, like you say. I still can't get over all the young lads who performed well last night. Villa seems a couple of years away, you know. But no, credit to Sterling again. Though I thought that he got man at match, didn't he?
He better have done.
He better, yeah. But he that's probably one of his best games. He didn't score. He didn't have to score. He did score. He didn't have to score dozens of goals to prove how well he did. You know, it was just a phenomenal display. But then again, every single one of them is. It's like Dave said, you just needed to kick up the backside at half time, and we just showed exactly, and the quality shone through. But it's so nice to see. You know, we've had a couple of dodgy results so far this year, and it's just nice to see that a team like Villa, who we know could have turned up on that day and caused us a real upset, the one of them teams this year. And I'm just so glad we did put them to bed eventually.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just a quick side note talking about Sterling. I need to pick you two up on something. Dan, Dave, who are your favourite players and who are you arguing about all the time?
Who I think is the best player in the world is Lionel Messi.
Okay, and Dan?
I said Sterling. Sterling, definitely, without doubt.
He's the lion bugger.
You're digging me a grave, though, because all the followers on this page are going to hound me. And United ties aside, guys, I still think Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest of all time.
I'm glad you said that, because you lined me up perfectly there. My mate Andy sent me a stat saying most goals and assists for 2019. So we got 41 with Sergio Aguero, 43 with Mbappe, 47 Lewandowski, 51 Dave's love child Messi, and Raheem Sterling top of the tree with 53 goals and assists 2019. How can you even look past him for a player that you would rather have in your team right now? I can't. I asked myself this same question when Andy sent me this before. It's like, would you have Messi or Sterling? Do you know what? For age, comparing like to like, and what Sterling can become, I wouldn't get away from Sterling over Messi any day of the week, and I'm going to get shot down terrifically about that. But if someone said, well, if Barcelona came to us say we'll swap Messi for Sterling, I'd be like, oh, I don't think so. I'm all right, thanks.
No, I mean, think of the age gap as well. I think there's 7 years between them, right? No one's ever going to change my mind that Messi is the best player, right? I think Maradona's the greatest player of all time, but I think Messi is the greatest of the last 20 years, without a doubt. What I was going to say was, if anyone's watched that Amazon documentary series, there's one episode specifically about Messi. And some of the coaches who they interview say about Messi that just his simple presence on the pitch puts off the other team. And I think Sterling's now in that bracket. I think you can say...
Do you remember what the documentary was called?
It's on Amazon right now. It's a six episode documentary. It's Love of Football or something like that it's called. And the 6 episodes all about Messi. And it's absolutely incredible. And I think Messi's now got himself into that category of just his presence when that manager of the opposing team reads his name on the team sheet. Think, oh shit.
There's a bit of dread there.
What we're going to do. And who can you say that about now? You can say that about Sterling, probably Mbappe, Messi, obviously, definitely, Ronaldo. And fair play to him. 2 years ago, he wasn't in that bracket, and now he's absolutely in that bracket of just his sheer presence there is going to panic defenders.
Absolutely is right. And it was, I read a stat before, and I think it was a BBC website. Raheem Sterling has scored 43 Premier League goals for City without ever finishing on the losing side. That's 41 wins, 2 draws, and 0 losses.
Get him on the penalties.
You what, pal?
Yeah.
Get him on the penalties.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Absolutely. And it was obviously disappointing about Fernandinho getting dismissed as well. Again, that seems like ages away thinking about that. But he made his 200th Premier League appearance for us. 3rd Brazilian to reach that milestone after Willian, 206, and Lucas Leiva, 247. So, he's not doing bad, is he?
No, but there's a lot of... the scouts are sort of thinking they're bigger than what they should be. They're saying it was all pre-planned, weren't they? They're saying he got him sent off to miss a tie against Southampton, so then he'll be ready for the Liverpool game. Oh. So I've read from a few of them. There's plenty of it going around, actually. But
whereas opposed to Pep could have just substituted him.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you thought a 34, 35-year-old midfielder who's played very, very well, it has to be said, in a position that is not his ideal position. He turned into an Otamendi that day. He just lost his head. I mean, just the 2 challenges that resulted in both the yellows were so reckless. Yeah, and against Atalanta, when he gave the penalty away, you thought, that's a 1.5 season challenge for Fernandinho. We know he has a reckless head in time to time, but he won't do that again for a few months. And he does it twice in one game.
Yeah.
It's very unlike him.
As long as he doesn't do it against Liverpool, we'll be okay, won't we?
No.
Do you think he'll play against Southampton at the weekend?
No.
I don't think he will either. No.
Interesting. It's interesting to see that last night we played Jesus and Aguero.
Yeah, he tried that. If you remember, when Jesus joined, Aguero was out, and for 12 games or something like that, it was either Aguero or Jesus. And then, if you remember, it wasn't last season; it was the season before. He did try and play them as a front 2 for a little while, and it kind of did work because Jesus is obviously a lot more agile. Kun has one thing in his mind, and that is just running at goal and scoring that goal. And I think that's why Jesus maybe doesn't get quite as many goals, because he wants. I get the feeling he's quite happy to assist as well, and maybe that's the Brazilian in him, that he likes doing a bit of a trick and bringing another player into the game. Whereas Aguero, who's going to doubt him? All he wants to do is score goal after goal after goal, and thank you very much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't change that for the world.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would say about Jesus, so he's got one thing that's stopping him from reaching the category of Aguero, and that's his offsides. Yeah. If he learns to stay onside, he's got the pace, he's got the power, he's got the finishing ability. If he learns to stay onside, he will demolish defences. He really will.
It's an Elka reborn, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He just leads to get a bit of maturity and understand football a little bit more. I mean, he's only, 22, 23.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're hardly anyone to talk. I mean, we've never played a professional game of our lives, but, you can just say, you can see it on the pitch, you can see it in the reviews, you can see it what everybody else says. Stay onside and he'll score goals. He just can't stay onside.
It's gonna come though, isn't it? There's gonna be a point where it just clicks, and before you know it, he's an absolute world beater, and you can see it. You can see it being in him.
It needs to happen soon.
I think that's why Pep. We talk nearly every week about, are we going to bring in a striker? Are we going to bring in a striker? And Pep is probably thinking exactly the same as Dan. That he's going to get there in the next few weeks, few months. We've got Aguero for at least another season, obviously, but Jesus is just going to be the ready-made placement, and possibly even better than Aguero at the end of the day, because he's been learning for the last few years already.
Do you know? I'd love to have his stats in front of me, and I don't have them up to me right now. But I'd love to see
So he's 50, isn't he? I mean, he scored his 50th goal, right, against Palace, and I think that was in 103 appearances. I don't know his assists, but that's 1 in 2 for a striker in the Premier League who has been in and out and tends to play as a substitute rather than starting from the whistle. I bet you there's 20-ish assists in there as well. I'll take it for what we paid for him. 27 million?
Yeah, it was a lot.
What I like about Jesus as well is, if you've seen all this stuff with Bayern Munich over the last couple of days as well, he's actually come out and said it's all bollocks. Don't believe it. I love where I am. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if one of his teammates, a German who's currently on the sidelines, actually said the same thing? Yeah,
well, that gives you. There's only one thing in mind for him there, isn't there? Unfortunately,
it's looking very, very likely. I think I'm tending to agree with Dan now that I think Zane's. He'll probably get the season with City. Hopefully, pick up his next winners' medal, and then I think he's gone. I think it's a done deal.
Yeah, get him. Well, I think was it last week we talked about this? If he wants to go, we'll find a report. Pep will have something in under his wings.
David was saying it, wasn't he? If we're going to let him go for the right money.
Yeah, I've got his stats here for the Premier League. 75 appearances, 30 goals, 11 assists. Not bad for someone who's an understudy. Not bad for an understudy, that is it.
I'll take it. That's a goal or an assist, 1 in 2. That's
What's scary is the beginning of them stats. What's scary is the beginning of them stats. He was probably a teenager at the time as well.
Yeah.
He's still. I think so many of us still forget he's still only 22. That is nothing in terms of a striker in today's football game.
Agreed.
He's got at least 10 years worth of prime football. If he's playing the way he's playing at the best football playing team in the world right now, you can't go wrong, can he?
Do you know what? This is interesting. Sorry, I'm completely bypassing what we're talking about here. I've just got this on the Premier League thing. So he's got 30 goals, which is a goal per 0.4 games. Fair enough, just half. 8 headed goals, 14 with his right foot, 8 with his left foot. Is completely is the perfect hat trick waiting to happen, isn't he?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And that really... goal he scored against Palace as well. That with his head. Oof.
Yeah, I don't know how I got the angle on that. Fantastic.
Fair play.
Let's come off these stats, or else I'll be here all day. But should we move on to last night then, and how we thought we got on?
Beautiful for me, particularly blending that youth with experience in there. Dominated the game. Should have had more. I think I might have said 3-0, or I might have said 2-0 actually last week.
Oh, we're going to have to check that.
I think you should check. But it was sussing them out. I know Southampton had a couple of players as well who they left out as well with the pending game this weekend. But we dominated. It was beautiful to watch again. And Tommy Doyle coming in, that for me was just, I bet my granddad and my dad were kind of, looking at that, thinking, that is just incredible that we've got to that.
Yeah, it was Doyle, Foden, and Bernardo Silva in the midfield, and that was amazing to see. That's quite a young little midfield there, potentially, isn't there, going forward? That's really good.
Yeah.
And Doyle surprised me about his stats. I follow him on Instagram, and I've seen a couple of his goals. And yeah, he's a good striker, but I've never really. It's great to actually watch him play football. a proper game. I don't watch much of the youth teams, the reserves, the academy. So to actually see him play and pass, he has so much composure around him. I'm really surprised. I don't know why I'm surprised, because he's a young lad coming through, but I just hope we see a bit more of him. That'd be great.
I think we will do. I think based on that performance, it sounds like Pep was very happy with what he saw. He said the same as you, Tom, as well, that this was a different position for him, but he felt he could play there. And Pep, I get the feeling with Pep, he feels like that with a lot of players, that he'll see them that, oh, they're playing in that position, but actually, no, I'm going to play them over here instead, and they excel.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if we see more of Garcia, Harwood Bellis, Doyle, definitely over the next few months.
It's nice, isn't it, just to shut up all the haters that we don't play our youth team. I know it's Southampton. I don't mean to say it. I know it's Southampton. I know it's the League Cup. Let's not take away from it. They're a Premier League team. We still need to go out and beat them. We still need to play a good team. And I think Tommy Doyle's stats was he had a pass accuracy of 89, nearly 90%, which is not bad for midfield against the Premier League team. I know they made a couple of changes, but so did we. 9 changes we made. But we still look really strong and really in control and really able to go on a threat, which is amazing to see, especially with academy players playing.
Yeah.
Another academy player, though, albeit we bought him back, Angelino. He had a really good game last night before he went off injured. It's a shame he's injured. It's the first proper glimpse we've seen him with a good few minutes under his belt. But no, he had some incredible stats last night. It was one of the lads posted it on the page, and phenomenal stats. He even had a couple of shots on goal.
2 shots on target. 2 shots on target. Yeah, 2 clearances, 134 touches. He came off because of cramp. Nothing too serious. So
right. I heard hamstring. Thank God for that.
So there's hopefully nothing too serious. You could tell on his Twitter, he put a couple of emojis on there, so he's obviously quite frustrated why he came off. But the worrying thing is, I say worrying, his type of stature and play is more Pep than Zinchenko, and I think Pep would rather see him or Mendy at left back rather than Zinchenko, which for me is a bit of I don't know, because he's played really well, hasn't he, as the little lad, but with him being injured, that's going to put him back a couple of months, especially if Angelino starts playing the way he did last night. I thought he looked solid. I thought he could have been one of our first teamers for years, the way he played last night. It wasn't obviously perfect, but he just looked like he fit in the team so well.
That's the thing, though. Zinchenko we all know he's not a left back, but he's not built either. He's definitely an attacking-minded player. He's definitely that physique. Angelino, for such a short lad, he looks like he could take a good knocking or two at that thing, but still come out with the ball. Yeah. He's just the physical stats on the lad. And he's quick. He's so quick as well on that wing. And exactly what you said, Tom, he's exactly the Pep sort of player. Get along that wing, supporting the wingers, getting those balls in a bit like Mendy. But no, I completely agree. I think Mendy and Angelino will be the way forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't be surprised, and I'm saying this, and we might get some comments on it, that if Zinchenko eventually, his preferred position is central midfield, as we know. If he becomes our next Fernandinho or that kind of player that's more of a defensive midfielder for us, because he's now been groomed as a left back and he understands that position of defending. His preferred position is midfield. Don't be surprised if him, Rodri, Fernandinho over the next 2-3 years move into those kind of positions.
That's true. I think the only thing against him there is his height. I think if he had another half a foot on top of him, I think he'd be the ready-made. I think Pep would be already thinking about him now there.
Yeah.
He had a few more inches on his head. Maybe just needs to grow his hair taller. Get away with it, wouldn't he? But we go through to the next draw, don't we? We find out who we play tomorrow morning, I think.
Tomorrow morning. Some Zoe Ball's radio show or something. They're doing it.
The breakfast show, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll be putting it live on air at some point, I'm absolutely sure, tomorrow. So tune in for that. You're going to be you'll be tucked up in bed then, aren't you, Dave? At that time.
7 hours at the moment, yeah. So I'll just have to wake up to a text from you two, probably.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? I've got a hugely strong feeling that we're going to get either United or Liverpool, and I don't know why I think that. And obviously Liverpool are losing at the minute, so I don't know. Hopefully they both get knocked out tonight. Then I'll have a good night's sleep.
Fingers crossed.
I love United though. I really would love United because then we're already through. We really are, you know.
Oh no! Why would you say that?
Hey, I'm not subtle. Come on, big scorelines, dodgy statements. Martin Petrov's my favourite City player of all time, for Christ's sake. I'll happily say we'll beat United.
I'm gonna have to bleep that.
I want Oxford. I want Oxford the next round. That will do me.
Yeah.
Hey, they're a bogey team, though. I'd prefer United to Oxford.
Oh, Jesus, wept. I can't believe you said that. 3-2 to Arsenal. Liverpool have scored another. Bloody hellfire. Liverpool definitely winning that. That ball is going to go flying in the back of the Arsenal net off someone's arse. I'm telling you.
Of course it is.
Liverpool are going to win that. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Anyway. Anything else to talk about from last night?
So I know there was a question, wasn't there, Tom, about, I know we've discussed it a little bit about the younger players coming through and, you know, what our thoughts are on that. So, yeah, if we were address that, I don't know who it was who made the comment, but from my perspective, I think that's exactly what City are going to do. You're going to see from City over the next 3, 5, 10 years is that everyone knows we had to spend that money to be in the place that we are now. It's just one of those things. That's just the nature of football. But now we've been scouting and getting the best young players from across the world who are all in EDS, all in the academy now, and you're seeing the fruition of that. Now, I can only see us over the next 3, 5, 10 years, we're going to have maybe one marquee signing every 1 to 2 seasons, and the rest of the time it's going to be the Harwood Bellises, the Garcias, the Doyles, etc. Coming through, and we'll still be as good because we're being trained the right way.
Yeah, that question came through from Ashley Hesk about producing more homegrown players, and what a great question that is, Ashley. And you listen, Dev, I couldn't have put that any better myself. I think it's spot on. I think we've invested so much money in our academy, not just to make money, but to make the players that we don't need to spend the money. And I think we're doing a fantastic job at it, especially with what I saw last night.
Yeah, that's what all the biggest clubs in the world do. You look at Barca, Iniesta, Xavi, Messi, etc. came through there. Some of the big Portuguese clubs, in particular the Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, they rely on that academy. Bayern Munich, this is what they have to do now.
What we will start seeing more is the likes of what happened with Angelino, where we sell him for a fee plus a buyback or whatever it might be, and we'll start doing that because we can't afford to keep. For me, I wish we'd done that with the likes of, was it Sancho? But it happens. Whatever happens for a reason and all that. But we will start seeing more of those deals happening, and we will start buying more players back because it's just a better option to let them go, get their blood, their teeth elsewhere. And let's face it, if Pep wasn't a Mancunian, if Foden wasn't Mancunian, it potentially might have happened to him. I think Pep's got a lot of love for Mancunian family players. We look at the Tommy Doyles of the world. Pep must be thinking there's a kind of romance there with having that type of family in the background. He must think to himself, if Tommy Doyle came from London, would he have played last night? Would he still be in City's academy? I keep asking myself that question. But I think Pep's got some kind of affinity with having the homegrown family, City family, families knocking around the club, and I think there's a good spirit about that. And you'll fight for the team a bit more, and you'll work that bit harder. And you got something a little bit about you. I think he's more inclined to keep you if your family's Blues.
I think that is the perfect point, Tom, because look where Pep grew up. He grew up in La Masia with a family around him. And it means something to him. He graduated with a lot of other fantastic players, and then when he went back there and became manager, again it was all those La Masia players, the Xavis, the Messis, the Iniestas, the Busquets, who were coming through and had that family dynamic, had that love of that club before it even started. He knew that those kind of players who'd grown up with the club were going to wear their heart on their sleeve every game. And he knows that he's going to get that from our academy players, but particularly the Fodens and the Doyles, the Harwood Bellises, etc. He's nailed it.
That's absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. And long may it continue. I'm looking forward to seeing the next batch of academy players coming through now and what we're going to see. And let's face it, I don't think the academy's not really got going when it comes to getting the first teamers out. In reality, it's probably another couple of years away till we see Foden as a regular, and then we'll hopefully start seeing the conveyor belt come through.
Exactly. Bear in mind as well, Foden was one of our more senior players last night, which I find hilarious. You saw Doyle actually looking at him a few times, and wanting Foden's kind of, wink that, that was a good bit of play, which is, that must not only be good for Doyle, but can only be good for Foden as well, that he's being looked at as, Jesus, he's from Stockport, he's come through the academy, and look at him now, he's one of these senior players, and I look up to him. I want to be where Foden is. It's brilliant.
No, I can't agree more. It's fantastic to see, isn't it? Was there anyone else that came on last night, or anyone jumped out to you that we saw play?
Foden for me, really. He had another fantastic game last night, and some of the balls. I think there was one we didn't result to a goal, but he played it on the left-hand side, and he skipped past a couple of the Southampton players, and he just curled. I think it almost looked like he kicked it from his outside of his foot. It was that good a cross. He just curled right in. I think it was Mahrez or someone like that going up to head the ball, but it was perfectly weighted. You would have thought it was De Bruyne on his prime doing that.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's so nice to see, and with him being looking like that sort of senior sort of player, he looks like he's everything we've been after. Absolutely everything we've been after from a youth academy, and like you say, it's completely fantastic that we're seeing like to Tommy Doyle and Howard Bellis come through, and like Dave said, all Man City fans at heart, and that's the one thing I think this club is missing, if anything, a bit of pride in the shirt, knowing I came from here, I'm playing from here.
Oh, it's so good as well. I saw saw an interview with Glenn Pardoe, obviously Tommy Doyle's granddad, and he was so. I'll try and share it on the Facebook page. He was so emotional about it. He had so much pride in his voice. I wanted to cry watching it. I felt so happy for him that he's seeing this, and he's obviously been involved with City since early 60s, 61, 62. So obviously he's been through everything with City. Crikey, he's scored in a League Cup final himself, I believe, from what I've read. I obviously didn't watch it, but to have that as your family as well, that's amazing.
And he was never too afraid to have a go at the United as well, as what I've read. A long time before my years, but I've read on numerous quotes from him and stuff like that. He's not afraid to express his hatred for him, so that can only be good. On to Doyle.
I don't think. That'll never change, will it? Crikey. Oh, fantastic. And Sergio, again, last night. I just can't. I read something before. One of us shared it to our page. I'm going to read this out as if it was put out. So Andrei Shevchenko was one of the most feared strikers of his generation. Won the Ballon d'Or in 2004. He retired with 390 career goals. Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, Dan, back in your box. Considered one of the greatest players ever to play the game. He retired scoring 414 goals, and Sergio Aguero is 31. He scored 407 goals. How is he not on award after award after Ballon d'Or after Ballon d'Or after award? Why is he not appreciated by anyone else? Well, I'm sure he's appreciated by other teams outside City because he's a brilliant player, but by the authorities and people that are putting into competitions, it doesn't seem to be anywhere near that stature.
I think it's just a shame. I think the only reason for that though is he's performing as fantastic he is in an era of Messi and Ronaldo. You take those two out, I think it's a completely level and open playing field. I think he would have won a Ballon d'Or by now if it wasn't for those two. I mean, we're starting to see the end of it, but at the same time, we're starting to see Aguero's sort of not downward spiral because he's never let up really, but it's like I said, take those two out, he would have been right up there. He would have been in teams of the years for UEFA. Boo. And just in general, he deserves to win a Ballon d'Or. He deserves to win everything. He's a fantastic player.
If he played for Madrid, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. Obviously, we wouldn't be having this conversation, but he would have won a lot more kudos.
Yeah, he would.
He does with City, and it frustrates me that.
And we're not
31 as well. Actually, that's really good. He's got a couple of years left in him there, hasn't
he? Yeah, we're not as a club. We are not still not recognised in those circles yet. Unfortunately, we're not. And I think it's going to take something very special for us to be ever recognised in those circles. UEFA, FIFA, whoever, they just don't want us there. They want us to go away for some reason. They want it to be United and Liverpool in England. They want it to be Barca and Real in Spain. They want it to be the Milan Cubs and Juventus in Italy. They don't want the status quo to change, and they freaking hate the fact that we're messing up that status quo, and I know we're going to mention the whole Pep not even getting nominated for the managerial award either, which is he made history. No one has ever won the domestic treble ever.
2 years in a row, the Centurions as well.
Can you imagine if Baconface had won the domestic treble? He would have won every managerial award out there.
Yeah,
it is a vendetta against City, and we're on the page all the time and we're reading all the comments. I don't think City fans care. I think it brings us all closer together because it's us against the world. Fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse my language.
I don't
Perfectly said. No, perfectly said.
I got a little bit of heartburn you swear in then. That was amazing. It's phenomenal though, isn't it? I mean, I was looking at Aguero's got minutes per goal contribution, 82.3 minutes per goal contribution. That's phenomenal. That's ridiculous.
And that's better than Henry, right? I mean, Henry I rate as one of the top players ever in the Premiership. He's got the best striker stats in the Premiership of all time. The only commentator I see who really, really rates Aguero and what he brings to the game is Carragher. Carragher loves Aguero, and he loves David Silva as well. But it's funny that even outside of Carragher, there's still a little bit, oh no, Henry was better, or Shearer was better, or whatever. No, look at his stats. Look at the trophies he's won. He's head and shoulders above everyone else for me, and thank God he plays for us.
I know, amazing. He's got four Premier Leagues, 4 League Cups, 1 FA Cup, and 2 Community Shields. He's not done bad, has he? If that guy doesn't deserve a statue outside our ground, I don't know who does. Him and company should be hand in hand together with Silva.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think like that statue that Henri's got outside the Emirates, I think that's what, I hope that's what those 3 are going to get outside the Etihad one day, because they deserve it.
Absolutely.
I'd love the old guard statue though. I'd love a big Groot statue of Joe Hart, Pablo Zabaleta, Yaya Toure, company, David Silva and Aguero all together. That just represents everything over the past decade, really, for me.
I can't argue with that, pal. Well, what we're thinking about...
and me.
And you, of course. Yeah, your headphones.
Slick hair.
So I've seen that after a bit of Otamendi slating, he scored 2 goals in the last 6 games. That's as many as in his previous 66 appearances for the club. Doesn't get away from the fact he's always got a mistake in him, does it?
He just can't defend.
I'm trying to praise him. I'm trying, honestly.
No, it's as an Argentinian defender, they're usually so good and they usually don't make mistakes. But yeah, you just feel the tension whenever there's a fast attack or there's a corner coming in or something like that. That something's going to happen, and I don't want to go back to the Pep or pre-Mancini era of whenever that ball went in our box or close to it that we started panicking. You could feel it in the stands, and that's what Otamendi brings them, unfortunately.
No, I can't disagree with that. It's proper panic stations, isn't it? I don't think we'll get rid of that for a while, though. That's the problem.
No, we're not gonna buy. I'll be very surprised if we bring in a reinforcement centre back in January. I think Pep said as much. So Otamendi just bar company. Yeah, Otamendi just has to get better. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. We've had a few questions about podcasts. We're picking up steam here, guys. And I just want to tell everyone this is one of the questions a few people have asked. It is coming. There's a few technical things we need to get past. but we are going to start doing it because we're getting a lot of people on Facebook and Twitter messaging about podcasts now. So yeah, we are going to I am going to pull my socks together and start jumping into it. But it's just a bit more technical than I first thought. So hold this, please, guys, and yeah, we'll get one in as soon as possible. So it'd be great to have this as a video and a podcast at the same time. I think that'd be pretty good because I'd like to, personally, I'd like to watch the video version, but some people I know would like to watch the podcast as well. So it's
who doesn't want to watch the video version with these three beautiful mugs?
Hey, what did I say straight after though? I'd never get away from the mirror. Don't worry, everyone, I'm joking. No oil painting, I know.
Oh, Dan, one of our other admins, I hope he's watching. I think he might be. Hello, Dan, if you are. I mentioned that Laporte's back in training, which is music to my ears.
Beautiful. Happy. I mean, we're here in February. If he's in light training, if he's quick healer, you never know. Might be back early in the new year.
Got to Krujak doing his business in the surgery bed. Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. As soon as possible. God damn, we need him back sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
We can't, especially with Fernandinho. I know Fernandinho is going to be a bit of a rock for us, but he's made like you said, Dan, before, he's made a couple of mistakes recently, which is just like we make them against Liverpool, we're going to go down 2-3. We can't afford to make mistakes. So I'm just hoping. This is a good point actually. Time to move on to this because Liverpool's round the corner now, and you two have been having a discussion about formations.
Yes, we have.
I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this because I kind of lost where you were both up to after you had a good chat. So I kind of like to hear it from your mouths, like what you're thinking. So tell me.
You want me to go first, Dan?
Dave, you have the reins. You have the reins. I'll correct you.
Before beauty, Dave.
I'll correct you.
So I just want to explain my theory around this, my philosophy that this is the top of the league at the moment. They're an incredibly fast team. They score a lot of goals. We've just been talking about Otamendi. Fernandinho is a better player, but Fernandinho does get caught for pace a little bit. I think we can all agree on that. And when you've got Salah and Mane running at you, I think Fernandinho could get in a little bit of trouble. Okay. And then of Firmino, we're going to have to keep an eye on him as well because he is a wonderful player to watch. So I have thought, and Pep isn't going to do this, but this is just a thought that I had, that I'm thinking of I think we're going to have to set up a little bit more defensively because I think they're going to really come at us next week. That I want to go with a 3-5-2.
Okay, yeah.
I want to have 3 centre backs and I want to have a 5 midfield. So it's going to be so difficult for Liverpool to actually even get through us. So where I went with this, and I'll bring up my little spreadsheet. Ederson in goal, obviously.
Have you prepared this? Have you generally got something for you? Good lad.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. Love it.
Yes. I've got Ederson and then Walker on the right-hand side of my 3 centre-backs. I've got Fernandinho in the middle, and then I've got Stones on the left. My thinking behind all of that is that it's simply that they can take one of their fast players each. That's my thinking behind this thing. And then where I've put my 5 is, and I've got Bernardo Silva and I've got Mendy, and they're playing somewhat as wing backs. Okay, I want Bernardo Silva playing as a right wing back. I want Mendy playing as the left wing back, which is kind of what he's been doing anyway the last couple of games. And then I have David Silva, De Bruyne, and Gündogan, middle of midfield, and Aguero and Sterling.
Do you know what? Putting Bernardo Silva at right back, that could be inspired.
But he's not, and that's what I mean. He's not a right back, but we need Bernardo Silva against Liverpool because of his energy. He runs more than anyone else in the team. So my thinking is, we're setting up a little bit more defensively, but we've got that speed on the attack, and it's going to be really difficult for those front 3 in particular to really even penetrate and get through that midfield. And if they do, then you've got the speed of Walker and Stones there, and Fernandinho, because he reads the game very well, being able to pick up a Firmino who tends to make those late runs. So yeah. I know Dan doesn't agree, but I'm trying to think of, rather than going there and thinking, right, we're just going to attack. I'm thinking that we just need to soak up that up a little bit and catch them on the break. That's where I was going with it.
I can't disagree with that. It sounds really good. What about you, Dan? What would you change with that?
Well, you never mentioned about the wing backs, the way you'd have that sort of idea that they cancel out the two side attackers for both of them. The only problem I have with that sort of formation is we've always got a defensive midfielder in our team, and whether it be a Gündogan, Fernandinho, preferably, obviously that's going to be a very, very expensive luxury if we were to ever play Otamendi and Stones at the back and play Fernandinho in that midfield. The only thing that worries me is Firmino. I think he's sort of like a bit like a Son for Spurs. He's not got all the credit that the team gets, but he's sort of that. I said it about Gundogan's performance a couple of weeks ago. He's sort of that quiet perfectionist. He doesn't make a statement like everybody else, but he knows how to play the game. And albeit you've got Robertson and Alexander-Arnold on the wings crossing those balls in, if we focus on just stopping them, eventually Liverpool are going to go exactly direct. They're going to play Salah more central, Mane more central, attacking further in, they'll be cutting in, and then you've got Firmino driving through whichever one. And then that renders the two wide players of our defence obsolete at that point. And do you really trust Walker against Mane in a one-on-one situation? And also with the fact that Fernandinho is a bit, at the moment, it's almost like we're a bit unsure about Fernandinho, the way he's played the past couple of times, whether he's got a mistake in him. So the only reason I think we should stick with the formation with that is because of that cancellation of Firmino. I think he's going to be our main problem, personally. But I would have set up with Ederson, obviously, in goal. I'd have Cancelo on the right rather than Walker. Just for he's got that pace, but he's also got more defensive mind about him than Walker has personally. And from what I've seen of him, he's starting to make up that 60 million price range. I'd have Mendy on the left, but I'd have Stones and Fernandinho in the back two. And then I'd play Gündogan that holding midfield, because albeit he's been getting slated for not, well, we've discussed it, whether he's not an attacking midfielder, but he's not a defensive midfielder, he's just a midfielder. He'll do that job and he'll break up that Liverpool central play, from which then we can have De Bruyne and David Silva in that midfield feeding off the play. But like you said, I'd also have Bernardo Silva on the right wing, who can run mayhem. I mean, that Liverpool game last year, the only reason we won that game was because of Bernardo Silva. I don't care about the goals, I don't care how we defended, it was Bernardo Silva. And if he's a bit more confident of that back four, holding them off, and Gündogan breaking up that central play, Bernardo Silva can have a free rein for me, and I'd play Sterling and Aguero a bit more of a front two type thing, with Bernardo Silva sort of tucking in between with De Bruyne and Silva. I know I've rambled on them, but I'm sure you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
I am with you. I think one thing we could pretty much guarantee is there's no way anyone on this planet can guess what Pep's thinking or what he's going to do.
Well, your fantasy football team suffered because of that, hasn't it, really?
Not even. Oh,
Yeah.
bloody hell, I was convinced Sergio would have started the other. Anyway, don't matter. Bloody hell, yeah, it's gone right up the Swanee. Unbelievable. But it's kind of like get the whole squad of 22, chuck them onto a piece of paper, and then see if one lands in the right formation with Pep. Especially in massive games like this where he can't lose. We can't lose this game. There's no two ways about this.
No, and that's the thing. Does he set up his team to let's just go all out attack and get that early goal with the possibility that Firmino or Salah or Mane are going to catch us on that counter, or is he going to be a little bit more apprehensive about doing that and really set his stall out to be a little bit more defensive and kind of watch what's going on in the game and try and nick a 1-0? And I know that's not Pep's style, but because of the importance of this game, that we can't draw, we can't lose, we have to win it.
Yeah.
Is he going to set it up? And that's why I'm thinking it could be a 3-5-2, just simply because it sets you up a little bit more to watch what's going on in the game rather than I'm going to go all out attack.
Yeah. It's at Anfield, isn't it? It's at Liverpool.
Unfortunately so. Yeah.
It's a tough one.
To get the away days out the way, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then we set ourselves up.
Well, we got Southampton first, and we got Atalanta, haven't we? And then Liverpool roll straight into that. So
it's going to be a 4-0, though.
And we're talking this now. There's 2 games, and my son's always saying to me that he wants to, on Monday he wants to change his fantasy team up, and I keep saying to him, you don't do that until the final second, because you don't know what's going to happen in training, with injuries, with internationals. We've got 2 games, big games as well before Liverpool. The way our injury list is going, we're going to have another one down.
Mm-hmm. When is it? 10th of November. So
my daughter's birthday.
Is it really?
And it is Alexander Kolarov's birthday too. So she's very happy about that. Yeah.
So what you're telling me there is a left back's going to score a screamer from 30 yards. That's what you're telling me there. Sweet left foot.
I think if we manage this game correctly, Liverpool are beatable. They have not played fantastic this season. They haven't. They've jammed it on many occasions. They're a wonderful team, but they're not firing on all cylinders. If Pep gets this right, even with our injury list and the players that are available, I think we could nick it.
Yeah, well, the good thing is Liverpool are quite enjoying conceding goals. It's 4-3 to Arsenal at the minute.
Wow.
And
we're talking about Aguero. I don't think he's ever scored at Anfield. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he has not.
That's a stat I didn't know about. I need to do a bit of research there.
I'm 99% sure he's never scored at Anfield. And
you'll play Jesus then. You'll play Jesus.
That's going to happen. Aguero's going to score at Anfield before his Premier League career is over.
I still remember that goal he scored against him at half place when he was out on the right wing, and he was that much of a gap between the goal he nicked in. That is one of my all-time favourite goals. What a finish. And he meant it, and all it was a spawny goal. He meant it as well.
He absolutely battered it in, didn't he? That was lovely. Yeah. That was really nice. Was that the when John Stones saved the ball off the line by like...
Oh,
no, this is going back a few years ago now, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember what season. I think it was the 14-15 season.
It was the shirt with the collar on that we had. It was a few years.
Oh, sorry, I thought you
meant years ago now.
Right. Yeah. I think about the one recently.
It was the keeper. I think he's the Napoli or AC Milan keeper now. Reina.
Pepe Reina.
It was Pepe Reina.
Crikey, you're talking some way back then, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you, Dan. That how he got that in is beyond me, because he was about 20 yards out as well. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was on the far right-hand side, and he was closer to hit it in.
Yeah, he was closer to the corner.
Reina just kind of went like that, and it was already past him in the net. It's like, how the hell did he do that?
Yeah, I shared that on Twitter recently. That was a belter, that was. And he did that, didn't he, on the floor?
Yeah.
I know which one you mean, yeah. One of them would be nice.
I'd love to win it by a sporty goal, though. I would just love to rub it in and just get one of them sort of goals.
The Van Dijk.
So, Tom, do your little stat thing. I think there is only 2 Premier League grounds that Aguero hasn't scored at. I think it's 2, and I know Anfield's one of them.
Oh, right. You have to bear with me on this one, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep talking for a little while, then we'll have a look for this.
Okay, so, all right, so let's do our predictions then for, because I guess we won't talk for a week, so we've got 2 games in that time. So predictions for Saturday?
I'm still sticking with a 4-0 for me.
Yeah, I'm going for 5-0 that one. I think he rested a hell of a lot of his players. I think he's going to put out a statement in the Premier League on Saturday. And at Atlanta, knowing that Liverpool is coming up, I would think that Pep will be more than happy leaving there with a draw. Because at Atlanta, have you seen since we beat them, they've been scoring goals for fun. Yeah, they beat someone 7-1 or 7-0. Yeah. They scored 3 or something last night. They're scoring goals for fun. So what do we want to do? We're pretty much through the Champions League anyway. Does he set up to just try and walk away with no injuries and make sure our best players are available for the Saturday? So I'm going to go 2-2 for Atalanta.
Couldn't argue with that. I hate to say it, but I can see a loss to a point. that you made, like we've got Liverpool just around the corner. I think he'll be resting a lot of key players, but at the same time, we'll still want to put a first team out. But I just think the intensity for that game won't be there as much as he'd love it for the Liverpool game. I think he just sort of like, with us playing Southampton as well, I think he'll want to. I think it was you that mentioned it, Dave. He want to go out against Southampton and make a huge statement to Liverpool to say, look, we're going all guns blazing whether you like it or not. And I think the only thing that ruins that is the Atlanta game. Atalanta, should I say. So I can see a 2-1 loss.
And who have Liverpool got that Tuesday or the Wednesday next week? Who are they playing?
I'm not sure.
Because, again, you always have to be conscious as well that they've got a big game to play in the Champions League and they need the points. Yeah. Are they going to play a full-strength team? Are they going to try and rest some of the players? So,
because they've not really got a backup squad, have they, really? If you think about the players that fill in for him, we've got depth everywhere on the pitch. Yes, we've got a few injuries, but take away their striker in Firmino. They've got Origi. Yes, he's a good striker. He's not a replacement. We've got Jesus. Yes, he's not Aguero, but he can score a goal or two. You know, Origi. Yes, Origi can score a goal or two, but he's not that striker that Liverpool use. And the wingers, same thing. Who did they really bring on? Lallana. Henderson's been playing right wing a couple of games recently because they haven't got anyone to fill in for Salah. You know, but it's one of them. I think, it all depends on their game as well. But I think it's a tricky one. It's a really tricky one. I'll tell you what, Pep comes away with 9 points from 9. Albeit we know he's the best manager in the world, but it takes a lot of good management to do that.
It's true. I'm going to come back to you on your stat, Dave. I'm going to come back to you on that because I need to do a bit more research on where he's not scored. But it's a great one, that. It's funny you mentioned about Origi. He reminds me of the type of like who's oh god, he's gone to Leicester, the Nigerian.
Iniacho.
Yeah.
Iniacho.
Type of he can score, but he's never going to be first team type player, and he just reminds me of that type of player put for City, but for Liverpool.
He's one player I missed though. He had everything, that lad. He just never took it to the next step. I really rate him.
So is he at the minute? He's not exactly bagging left, right, and centre where he is.
He scored last night, didn't he? It was two goals.
Did score last night, yeah.
2 goals in 2 games in compared to a previous 2 in 40 odd games or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when he played against Villa with us a few years ago, and he scored 2, I think. And you thought, wow, he's going to be the next big thing. And then he just, disappeared. But, you can argue we've not missed him and he's not really contributed to Leicester. But it's a shame because he's still young and he was a very good lad, Yeah.
So Liverpool have got a Villa on Saturday and then they're at home to Genk on Tuesday. So they've got an extra day's recovery on us there.
Yeah. That Iniacho's for me, absolutely that player who never wanted to leave City. No. He didn't want to go, and I think his game suffered because he couldn't live up to what he felt he was going to be, and Pep didn't want him, and they got great money for him to go to Leicester, and I think rather than going, right, I'll show them and I'm going to knock it banging 30 a season, I think it sat badly with him. And I don't think he's ever recovered from being sold from City. It would be the same with one of us three. Somehow got a professional contract for City, and then we got sold. We'd be absolutely gutted. Yeah. And I think it's the same with Iniacho. I think he's just gutted that he's not part of that anymore, because I think he realises that he had the potential to be.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely spot on there. Absolutely spot on. It's a weird one, isn't it? It must be a lot easier being the Gabriel Jesus of the world, knowing that you're there, knowing that your father figure's leaving soon and you're going to take over the realm. It must be a lot easier knowing that. It's a ruthless sport, isn't it, football, for stuff like this?
Absolutely. I mean, particularly as well when, if Pep was, even if there was any rumours about us bringing in a striker in January or next summer, but there's nothing. Unless we've got some absolutely incredible academy prospect that we're maybe not hearing too much about right now, then yeah, this is all Jesus in 2-3 years' time. He's going to be our striker. It's simple as that.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. It's 4-4 now. Liverpool, Arsenal.
God Almighty.
Origi. Oh, Manzi Nacho. Can't make it up, can you? No.
I'm going to shut up from now on, I swear to God.
I cannot make it up. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Bloody hell.
Right, who's playing for Arsenal? Let me name some dodgy players that are for strikers. Come on.
Ozil's playing tonight. He's probably been substituted by now, but he did start the game.
Did he
I
start?
didn't even give any. I don't give any praise to Ozil.
Ozil's come off.
Of course he has. What about the third minute?
Sulking. Yeah, never disappoint, do they? These teams. Christ.
Oh God. Oh.
I believe that. And United are winning. Bloody hell. I'm telling you, Liverpool United next round for City.
Ooh, what would be a good game if those two play each other?
If they both do each other, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I'll take that. I want Oxford. Done.
Oxford at home, please.
Yes, please.
Why do you want the harder task?
just give us a break. All the injuries we've had. Just give us a break. Oh no, you know what? It'll be nice for Oxford. They can come to, the Premier League champions, have a day out in Manchester. There you go.
Oh, you think that now? It'll be at Oxford.
Yeah,
you've had your fun now. Piss off, home. Come on. Come on, guys. Bloody hell.
Yeah,
this has been 55 minutes, lads. We've absolutely smashed through this. Has anyone else got anything to chat about before we sign off?
I think that was all the questions as well.
Yeah,
that we got. So
one big shout. Remember the second name Fielding, because I've got a new lad that's going to be in that academy. Guarantee it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations, Dan.
Cheers. No, give him congratulations when he scores the Champions League final winner.
He'll do it. One of those dads that puts a fiver on him when he's born. Play for City.
Fiver. I'd put $5,000 on him if I have to. Hear me turn around the other day going, I've said, because as we were discussing last week, I'm not allowed to put anything City up in that room, apparently. But I turn around to her and say, I'm dedicating one full wall, and I've got an artist technique in my, I'm quite good at art, and I'm planning just a big City badge on one wall, just a huge City badge.
Love it.
And she says, that's all you're having in Man City? I go, no. Every Saturday he's going to the local village to play football. I'm going to make sure a scout comes and see him. He's going to be the next big thing. Even if he has to break a few legs, but
Question for you: have you got any City shirts?
I've got plenty. All with Fielding.
I'm just thinking, you've got a design inspiration here, pal. If you'll add one wall, you could do a lot worse than having a load of City shirts on the wall.
Well, I've got a tradition that started up about 8 years ago now. I've had my surname on every single top I've got, but a year of my age, I get it for my birthday every year. Yeah. My wife gets me one with when I was 19 and 19, when I'm 24 recently. This has got 24 on it. I'm going to do the same with that, and every year I'm going to pin a top with the Fielding going up for years on there, and get different away and home games, and that's the one thing I promised to him. But he's definitely growing up a Man City fan and not a Man United fan like the majority of the family.
No, he's obviously got sense, hasn't he? I've got a story. The last time I bought a player's shirt, so something on the back, was David White, and we sold him the season later, and I've never been so disappointed to have a player's shirt name on the back. Gutted I was. So I've not worn it since. I've never had another player's name on the back of my shirt ever since then.
But look who we got in return for David White. I absolutely love David Rocastle, and I worship David White. But David Rocastle played about 16 games for us or something like that. Just hardly any. He was bloody brilliant for us. So much better than any other player that we had on the pitch. He was brilliant. Rest his soul.
What a shame that was. What a shame, poor lad. Was big mates with Ian Wright, wasn't he?
I think they basically grew up together. Certainly played in the same local teams together. But phenomenal player for City, even only playing a few games for us. And maybe the right time to get White to go. I kind of was getting towards the end for City. But yeah, I loved Rocky for us. I thought he was a fantastic player.
Who's the best player you've ever had on the back of your shirt?
That my orange shirt I was wearing last week. Yeah. That's it. I've got Aguero on the back of that.
Yeah.
Yes. So. And
you've only had Fielding, haven't you? So Fielding's the best player on the back of your shirt.
The one player I wish when I was able to have money of my own, I would have loved, and you know I'm gonna say Petrov. I don't care what anybody says. I love that bloke when he was playing for City. He played very few games, but every game he did, he was brilliant. I don't know why. He's the most odd player that's ever played for City that I've really taken to. I just love the way he played. I don't know why.
Hey, fair play, mate. You stick to your guns. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Better than saying Jack Rodwell, to be fair, who got rejected by Roma.
Did you see that? What's going on with him now, then? Poor lad.
I'm looking at your goalkeeper shirt there, Tom. Is that I've seen Dibble in that shirt. You don't have Dibble on the back of that, do you?
I don't think so. I don't have anything on the back of that.
Nothing on that one.
Nothing on that one. No, I think that was after David White, wasn't it?
Yes.
So I wouldn't have had it. No, wouldn't have had anything in the back. David White.
That was
ruined my dreams of buying shirts with names on the back.
And then I think Tony Coton would have worn that one, I believe, as well. And I did have a goalkeeper shirt with Coton on the back because he was a wonderful keeper for Manchester City.
Do you know what? I've got somewhere. I don't know where I got the yellow one. Do you remember the yellow one? Bright yellow one. And I got that signed by all the City team, all the squad of that team. City used to play down at the University Fields in Wythenshawe. And it was quite unknown that they played there in the off-season. And my dad's mate, it was Roy Little, old City player. He used to play left back for City.
Yeah.
Roy Little used to manage the University Fields and used to give us a heads up when all the City players were going down there. So we went down with our City shirts and got them signed. Brilliant days in the school holidays, that was. Absolutely fantastic. Won an FA Cup medal, Roy Little.
Yeah, that's kind of similar. I used to go to Platt Lane all the time, watch them training there. These are in the days of like early to mid 90s when we had the Rossler and Kincladze and stuff. And I might have mentioned this before, but I used to go week in, week out and watch Kincladze in training. And you just used to. This is when Alan Ball was manager as well, a World Cup winner. It was played with some of the best players in the world, and literally everyone would just stand and admire what he could do. It was ridiculous. And what I loved at Platt Lane as well, as you will know, Tom, there was no bloody security there. No, you could park your car up and wind your window down and watch a Premier League team training. Yeah, that's. The only time I got starstruck with City was Uwe Rosler, who is my absolute City hero and idol. I met him and I took a picture of him out of my wallet because I loved it. I wanted him to sign it, and he looked at me. Yeah, Dad, that's the look that I got from him. It's like, what the hell? Have I got a stalker here? Why is there some guy carrying a photo of me around in his wallet?
Amazing.
Yeah, Alan Ball, Franny Lee, no problem meeting them. Hey, how you doing? Let's have a chat. Uwe Rosler, starstruck.
That's amazing. Do you know what? That's just. I'm glad you mentioned Kincladze because that's just reminded me. Somebody asked a question the other day on the page, and I've not wrote it down, but I just remembered it. What was the question now? It was who was a better player, Berkovic?
Oh, yeah. That was it. Yeah.
Right, for me, I'm going to put my money's worth in here. It was Bernabia because I seem to remember Berkovic having a bit of a chip on his shoulder and left in a bit of a huff somewhere. And I can't remember where that still comes from. I can't really remember the story why. But Bernabia, both of them are bloody brilliant players, fantastic players.
Yeah.
And just in Kincladze mould, but Bernabia just pips it for me just because of how Berkovic left, and I don't know why. I need to know the story about that. I can't remember why. I think he had a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, he definitely left under a little bit of a cloud. That I think he did. He move to Portsmouth. I think was it to Portsmouth that he went to when he left us. Yeah, I think it was, and I think he just wanted to move, and we didn't want him to go, and he kind of threw his toys out the pram and no, I really want to go, and he kind of went through in the end. I think there was a bit of a cloud, but Tom, I'm completely with you. Bernabeu is one of the finest footballers I've ever seen at Main Road. Absolutely wonderful footballer, and there's always that story with Bernabeu that didn't we sign him from PSG at like 5 p.m. and then he got on a flight and Keegan just gave him a blue shirt and said, "Okay, we're kicking off at 7:45. Let's see what you can do."
Come on, you've signed up. Work's done. You're in.
I was at that game, and I remember in the North Stand, everyone just like, bloody hell, like, how good is this player that we've just got here? He was sensational. And he tried to get Pierce, if you remember, his 100th goal when he got that penalty for us when Pierce was retiring.
Yeah.
And then Pierce bloody skied it. It's still moving now, that ball.
Oh, do you know what? I've never been so gutted for football in my life. The goalkeeper even said to him, "Put it to my right" or something, didn't he? I was like, yeah.
Absolutely blasted it.
Oh, that was heartbreaking. That was that not a 100-goal season or something? We broke a record that season.
I think, yeah. Didn't we get 102 goals or something like that? And it was Pierce's final game, or playing game anyway. And yeah, Bernabeu, I just remember him. It was because I think I was basically opposite it in the Kippax. He chipped it against the guy's hand, and it shouldn't have been a penalty, but the referee was kind of like, "Yeah, well, it's Pierce's last game. Yeah, yeah, all right, then go on, you can have a penalty." And you're right, Tom. The keeper even said, "Okay, I'll go this way, you put it the other way," and he bloody skied it.
You believe that? Absolutely, you would be gutted, wouldn't you? Better person than sleep wink that night either. Absolutely, I miss Main Road for stuff like that. I love where we are now. I love our ground. But I still miss like going with my granddad and my dad and stuff like that when I was younger to the Main Road and all the little catacombs underneath. You can see the pipe work everywhere. It's amazing. Great state, that amazing.
That's what we've been talking about, and I know we keep getting these comments about the atmosphere, and that's really was my point last week, that Main Road generated more of an atmosphere than Etihad does. It's just as simple as that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of the ground is bigger, that we're getting, some fans who aren't as, ardent City fans as us or anything like that, but we somehow need to recreate that Main Road atmosphere. I wish I knew the answer. I kind of said last week I'd love to have a Kipex style standing area at Etihad. I think that would do a great guns for us. But I miss those days at Main Road, even though we never bloody won anything.
Good time.
Good thing the other Dan's not on tonight with that statement. He was having a bit of a rant last night about the atmosphere. Last night as well, wasn't he?
Yes.
It was very poor for us. We've normally got a good singing section, but it was very quiet. I know, fair enough. We had, 80% possession the first half, so you thought we'd be passing it around, but, it's completely agree. We don't have that same beat in the stadium, but it'll eventually come, I reckon.
Do you think expectations got to do some of this? Like, I know when we moved into Etihad that we were still pretty crap, but do you think the expectations changed? That I would turn up to Main Road every week knowing that we might win. Now we turn up thinking, well, we're going to win, and by how many?
It's
so
funny.
When you go in there with, God, we might win, we've really got to get behind this team. Kipax, the noise was absolutely deafening, and I don't get that now. And I wonder if expectations got something to do with it.
It's funny you say that, because I was having a chat with a City friend of mine who I know down the street, and he was saying the exact same thing. I couldn't agree more. A few years ago, before we started winning everything, we went to a game and thought, we're going to lose this, but we had a good game, we'll get a draw. We'll be cheering like no tomorrow, When we won the title for the first time it's ever happened, we lost the plot that day. Yep. Every single one of us, whether we're at the ground, whether we're abroad, whether we're at home. I ran around this cul-de-sac with my top off, doing the same thing Aguero was doing.
Yeah.
A couple of years, I think it was the 14 season when we won it for the second time, I had that same emotion, but a lot of other people didn't. And it was sort of like, well, we should have been winning it. We've got all this money. We should have been buying these players. But before that title, we'd beat, I think we beat United once. I think it was 2009, 2010, the Bellamy goal. That, for me, was one of the best days ever. because we were that sort of like expecting to win the game, expecting to win the title from there onwards. But it was just that day. That game, we were playing football. We had a fantastic day out, a fantastic game of football. We won, beat our main rivals, and that was what it was all about. Now we lose to them, you just sit there and slump. Goes, oh, it's the end of the day, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's true, though, isn't it? It is true.
Yeah. It is absolutely true. So maybe that's it. Maybe let's get this
mindset
back about, let's just get behind the team, whether we think we're going to win 5, 6, 7, 8-0 or whatever, because really that's what our manager Pep is asking of us, all those City fans every week. Get behind your team, because we could have another Wolves fiasco, and none of us want that.
Absolutely, we can't have that, can we? We can't have that.
No,
I'm feeling very positive now for the running for the season, running for Christmas. I'm feeling positive. We know we've got a lot of games to play, but I kind of feel like we've got a couple of blips in us at the start of the season, but we're kind of past them now. I hope so. God, I hope so.
A couple of 8-0ers coming along the way as well, isn't there?
I think someone's going to be at the hiding of us one day. I think someone's going to take an absolute spanking off us this season. I don't know when it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think City will be very happy that Leicester beat a team 9-0. I think we'll want to go out and claim that record and beat a team 10-0.
They're the ones to watch, though, aren't they?
Oh, the lovely team.
Yeah.
Leicester, I like them a lot.
Yeah, they did really well. Yeah,
you could argue they're a better team than the one that won the title as well.
Yes.
For me, personally, I'd go that far.
That's not a bad shout, Dan.
I put it out on Twitter about what ground Sergio's not scored at, and someone's come straight back with Anfield, and someone's put the Reebok Arena. I don't really think that counts, does it?
What's that called now? Isn't that Bolton University Stadium?
Yeah.
Is that right? Bloody hell, how times have changed.
Well, QPRs have gone from Loftus Road to Kevin Prince Foundation.
Has he scored at Palace?
He scored at Selhurst Park, surely.
He must have done.
He's got to have done.
Someone's on here. Interesting. I think people think I know the answer to this. Guys, I generally don't know the answer to this. Please tell me. Oh, lads, I think it's bedtime. It's 9:15. Well, it must be early for you, David.
It is 2:15 here. I have got to get back to work. Yeah.
So it, pal, but it's an absolute pleasure. Anyone else got anything else to say before we shoot off?
All good?
No. Oh, good.
We're not mentioning VAR. We're not doing that again. Please, no. I thought we got away with it. But
we hardly ever talk about it.
70 minutes we've been talking without the mention of VAR, and you get in there and just like shit on our bricks, don't you?
We haven't had any crazy scorelines either. It's a whole new world.
Have a fantastic week, lads, and I'll no doubt speak to you tomorrow.
City till we die.
See you soon.
Indeed.
See you later.
All best.
Bye.